Tonight, I'm going to be training on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Okay, so I'm going to go through the laws very fast, just quickly touching on each one of them. But I know it's going to be very impactful. So I'm excited for you to be able to get this training tonight. And if you got a pen and paper, I would encourage you to take some notes. Okay. First law is the law of the lid, right? John C. Maxwell teaches that the law of the lid is the leadership's ability is going to determine a person's level of effectiveness, right? So if on the left there in the chart, he's got leadership ability. If you've got a 1 or 2 in leadership ability, but you've got a 9 or 10 in dedication, your effectiveness is not very high. But if you got that same dedication and your leadership levels at about a 7, now you've got more effect. You increase your effectiveness. So for us to be an effective leader, we want to grow our leadership lid. That's why I study leadership. I encourage the leaders that I work with to study leadership. Leadership is a skill set that, I mean, it's something that's powerful because it goes beyond Riman. It goes beyond this profession. Helps you become a better father, better mother, better brother, better sister, better member of the community. It helps you in all areas of life, right? So when it comes to Riman, we all know that it's the same situation. And right now, Riman is a show business, not a tell business, right? You gotta raise that lid. And every planner right now is committed to the Long Beach Convention event, right? Because they want to raise their lid on their team to be able to do the same. So if I'm going to the Long Beach event, I can encourage everybody else to go to the Long Beach event. And then everybody's going to be in that environment, that growth environment where they can grow their leadership. What do I want to do? What do you want to do? We want to have as many leaders as we can, right? We want to develop the highest level of effectiveness that we can. And every opportunity that we have, whether it be a training like this, whether it be the Long Beach event, any opportunity that we have to be able to grow our leaders, what do we want to do? We want to get them in that leadership growth environment, right? So let's talk about law of influence. That's leadership law number 2. Okay. And basically what this is the law of influence. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? So setting an example is not the main means of influencing others. It's the only means, right? If you want to be influential, you've got to lead by example, right? You've got to lead by example. Influence and leadership go hand in hand. And influence, the only way to influence people is by doing what? Right? Leading by example, right? And that's the best and only means, right, is setting an example for people to follow, right? Obviously, Albert Einstein said that, I think, right? I wasn't there. I don't know. I never hung out with Albert Einstein, so maybe he didn't say it, but I did for sure, right? So I take people's quotes and I just, hey, this is what I told it. Somebody told me he said that, so I'm saying he said it. So hopefully he did. But regardless of who said it, it's obviously a reality. And the leadership lesson in that is every leader right now has that catch me if you can attitude, right? The more committed I am to the Long Beach event, the greater my level of influence is going to be on my team to be able to do the same, right? We know that the event is the secret sauce of this business. If you want to double your production, you want to triple your production, you want to 10x your production, the only way to do that is through big events. Everybody knows that, right? So we want to be 100% committed and be running. If you're not a team leader yet, man, I'm telling you what, you want to be running. Obviously, if you got started in November before, there was a big month in November. So all that volume is November, December, January, February, March. It's going to fall off. The November volume falls off in April. So we have till March to get promoted to team leader with that November volume. If your November volume was big, what does that mean? There's never been a better time to run than right now, right? We're going to have an awesome team leader party. It's going to be awesome. You want to make sure you're at that party. It's going to be so much fun. Okay. And that's going to be Friday night. They'll talk more about that on Wednesday if Betty is able to put that call together. I don't want to say anything until everything's announced, but that party's going to be awesome. Now, leadership law number 3 is the law of the process. Okay. This is big, right? Because the law of process, leadership's developed daily, not in a day, right? There's no way to microwave a leadership. There's no way to microwave a leader. You have to crock pot a leader, right? You have to slow cook a leader. And most people think you either fail or you succeed. But the reality is that's a myth. The only way to succeed is to fail forward, right? You got to fail your way there. You fail at something, you learn from it, you get back up, you try again, you fail, you learn from it, you get back up, try again, you fail, you learn from it, you get back up, try again, fail, learn from it, boom, you win, right? That's how winning is in life. Right? None of us that can walk, and I know the majority of us can, if you can walk, you didn't just like wake up and just be like, boom, jump out of the womb and just be like, I'm off to the races, right? It took time, took falling and learning. And guess what? Bam, you can walk now, right? So leadership is developed daily. So the more that you learn from what's happening in your world, the more effective you're going to be moving forward, right? If you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, you want to learn, right? You want to go through the process of growth and development. So the best way that I look at that is, is it's very true that, the event is the mother of the process, right? So people make a decision, events make a decision. Events help people make a decision. So at the Long Beach Convention, what happens is the commitment is made at the Long Beach event to engage and commit to the process. So the process is how you become successful, but the commitment and the decision is always made at the event. There's so many of the top leaders that we have in our organization that were guests. I was talking to Sarah Anderson, one of our top directors, and she literally was a guest at an event, right? Michelle Iglesias, Dr. Michelle Iglesias, I think she wasn't really engaged, came to an event, boom, got committed, right? And Betsy, and Ming Lee, they joined, but they weren't really in. They came to that first event. They had about, I think like 10 people. Next event, they had like a couple hundred people, right? Last event, I think they had like 500 people. So the event is what's going to make people make a decision to commit. When they see that environment, they see what's happening at Riman, they go, man, I'm going to make it happen, right? So that's why we want to promote the event more than ever before. Law of navigation. This is a big one. Law of navigation is very important. And the reason being is why, right? Let's talk a little bit about the law of navigation, okay? Law of navigation is anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to be able to chart the course. And a lot of times navigation comes through experience. The more experience you have in an area, the more you're going to be a better navigator, right? People always give me credit for being a great navigator, but I wasn't always a great navigator, right? I've been doing network marketing for 30 years, right? And that's the reason why I'm so good at navigating, because I've seen it all, done it all, right? So the secret to the law of navigation is preparation, right? When you prepare well, you convey confidence and trust in people. Leaders who are good navigators are capable of taking their teams just about anywhere, right? You want to take somebody to the top? It's easy to be able to do that if you've done it before, because you know where the landmines are that people need to avoid, the obstacles that people need to avoid, right? And that's really what leadership is about, right? Is navigating people. And when it comes to like the leadership lesson in that is the 5 Ps, right? The proper preparation prevents poor productivity, right? Or poop productivity, right? It's supposed to say poor, but I need to check change that, but poop's fine too. So proper preparation prevents poop productivity. I think that's even better than poor productivity. But once you build Long Beach event to the next event, your commitment is obvious, right? Your commitment to the Long Beach event shows you are a goal setter, not a BSer, right? You're a goal setter, right? And that's so important to understand. Preparation prevents poor productivity, right? You've got to make sure that you navigate your team, because what happens is people are always going to come up with an excuse. Oh, I can't make it, because they don't know what they don't know, right? It makes sense. I understand why people are like, oh, I can't make it to the event. And it's like our job to help them understand why they have to be at the event. Like it's to me, it's non-negotiable, non-debatable. Like I'm not working with somebody that's not going to the event, because I'm trying to create millionaires. I'm not trying to help somebody make an extra, $50 a month to take their kids to Chuck E. Cheese, right? I want to create millionaires. And the only way to be able to do that is through events. I know that for sure. In 30 years in this profession, I know that. My first event, right? I was like 17 years old, 18 years old, maybe. No, 17. And we had a person on our team that was like 21 that was able to rent like a U-Haul, right? And we just threw everybody in a U-Haul, put a mattress in the back, threw some peanut butter and jelly in there, right? And and some bread, and we just went there, right? We just packed that U-Haul full of people, dude. And it was like, what are we doing, right? I would never want my kids to do what I did. That was so dangerous. But for me, it was like, we're going no matter what. And I think that was the turning point for most of the people that were in my organization. Because like, dude, this guy is serious. You know what I mean? This guy is dead serious, right? So I think the more committed you are, and your better story, like, hey, I couldn't go my first event because of this, this, and this, but I found a way anyways. That's what people want to hear. They want to hear your strength. They want to hear your story, right? I've got so many amazing stories, man. One of my top guys at all-time money earners in my organization that I worked with, he was actually homeless at the first, like he didn't have a hotel to stay in, but he went to the event anyways. And he literally slept under a piano. Like, I'm like, bro, I would have let you stay in, in my room, bro. Like, I didn't know that, dude. I was like sad, but about whatever it takes. But when you have that type of commitment, your story is going to motivate other people to be able to go to the event, right? So you want to be a good navigator. Now, the law of addition. This is one of his newer laws. He took a couple laws out, put a couple new laws in. I like this law a lot because the law of addition is leaders add value by serving others, right? To add value to others, one must first value others. What I know is that anybody on this call can become successful. I know what I looked like when I got started in this profession. Okay. I know who I was. And I changed. I grew, I developed, I learned, I read the books, I did the disciplines, I got out of my comfort zone. I know anybody can do it if they're willing to step up and step out of their comfort zone, right? And the leadership law in the law of addition, right, is basically if you value your people, you want to develop them as leaders. Okay. If you want to develop your team, you know they must be at the Long Beach event. Everybody knows they've got to be there. So when people have excuses why they can't make it, right? It's like I tell people, like if you know, if you're not in a wedding, or if you're not like literally getting married, or you know what I mean, in it's like you got to be there. It's like, to me, it's like it's over, under, through, right? It's like the event to me is the focal point of our entire business. The Long Beach event to me is how we build our business, right? I wouldn't be doing the volume that I'm doing right now as an organization if I didn't promote events. Like that's how we're growing so fast, right? So let's talk about law of solid ground. Law of solid ground is a very powerful law because the law of solid ground is trust is the foundation of leadership, right? Your foundation is your character and your skills. You can always teach skills, right? The integrity is a clear correspondence between your words and your actions. This is what Jim Rohn says. Integrity is a clear correspondence between your words and your deeds, your words and your actions, right? So having integrity is so important. So you got to be a solid leader, to be a great leader, you got to tell people the truth, right? If you're not telling people the truth, you're not going to be a great leader. And that's DWYSYWD, right? Do what you say you're going to do. But if you're keeping the Long Beach event a secret, then you aren't telling people the truth. Everybody on your team, they deserve to know that the Long Beach event will change their lives. Like they have to know that. It's going to take them from where they are right now to where they want to be. It's the best commitment you ever make financially. What's the best investment you can ever make? It's in your own growth and development, right? You got to find a way to make one. People that are like, maybe I'll go to the next one. I'm just like, all right, you won't even be around by the next event, dude. It's like, I already know that. I don't necessarily tell them that, but I say there's a pretty good chance you won't make it to the next event if you don't go. Because to me, going to the event is like a time extension. There used to be a game called Outrun at the arcade where I worked at on Boomers. And it was a little arcade game where you're in a little buggy. And as soon as you'd hit a checkpoint, you get a time extension. And to me, that's what conventions are, right? They're time extensions. And that's how you grow a person, is get them in that leadership environment so they can become successful, okay? So here's a really important one. The law of respect. Law of respect's a big one, right? The law of respect says people will naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves, okay? So as soon as an organization comes together, right, you got a 9, you got a 4, you got a 2, people might be going in different directions. And then finally they start to get in a better direction, right? They start following, and then naturally they just get in right in order. So you want to make sure you're growing your team and you're the strongest leader you can be. Okay. How do you do that? Super simple, right? You can't follow, people can't follow in your footsteps if your feet aren't moving. Let's think about that. People can't follow in your footsteps if your feet aren't moving. Are you a toe dipper or a goal hitter, right? And the biggest thing is make a declaration in your heart right now that says, I am committed to the Long Beach event no matter what. When you make that type of commitment that you're going to be there no matter what, that's whenever the results start to show up, right? When you're like, no matter what, I'm going to be there. That type of commitment is what draws people to you, right? If you're trying to build your business and you're committed to the next convention, that's how you're going to build your business. 100%, because people are like, wow, I want to follow a leader that I know is going there, okay? And I'm telling you, the basic part of this business is making that commitment, okay? And John C. Maxwell is obviously my favorite author. I got all of his books, videos. I got his CDs. I got his DVDs. I got his CDs. I got his tapes even from back in the 90s, right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. The law of intuition, leaders evaluate everything from a leadership bias. I love what Leroy Imes said, right? A leader is one who sees more than others sees further than others sees, and sees before others see. Right. And this is a great book that he wrote, Be the Leader You Were Meant to Be. Okay. And here's what I want to share with you about that law. What's the leadership lesson in that? Leadership lesson series. Super simple, right? Every leader in Riman's number one focus is the Long Beach event. Like that's what everybody's focusing on right now, right? Every leader's like, get people to Long Beach, right? And if you use a magnifying glass and move it around over a pile of paper, and you won't even draw a spark. But if you keep that magnifying still on a hot summer, a sunny day, and focus the beam of the sunlight on a pile of paper, it'll ignite a fire. It's the focus. What's your primary focus right now? Right now, the focus is what? Getting people to the convention, right? You know, all your new people that are coming in, getting them committed to the convention, right? I tell people, dude, if you're getting started and you're deciding whether you need to buy a pack of products or get to the convention, I wouldn't tell you invest in the convention, because going to the convention is the number one thing that you need to do, right? People need to see the excitement of the product launches, right? People need to understand all the information that's going to be shared. They're going to come out of that weekend running through brick walls, right? We already know that. Okay. So everybody's been to an event knows. If you haven't been to an event yet, you're finding out, but I'm just letting you know, you've got to focus on one thing, and that's getting people to the Long Beach event right now. That's the play, right? So here's what I want to share with you about the law of magnetism. The law of magnetism is who you are is who you attract, right? To attract attractive people, you must be attractive. To attract powerful people, you must be powerful. To attract committed people, you must be committed. Instead of going to work on your team, go to work on yourself, and you'll become the person that you'll be. If you become, you can attract. That's Jim Rohn, right? I'm a big believer in that. Big believer in that. Now, right now, some of you on the call are like, well, you know what? I'm a really great person. I'm a really great leader. So if you're already a great leader, then you understand commitment, right? Commitment is what attracts people, right? The leadership that, in my eyes, right? The leadership lesson is what, right? We attract not what we want, but we attract who we are. So commitments are contagious, but so are lack of commitments. When you're committed to the Long Beach event, you attract others that are committed. It's all about finding committed people. How do you find a committed person? How do you recruit somebody committed is if you show up committed. They're like, dang, you're serious, right? There's like nothing can stop me from going to this event. People are like, oh, I want to be there too, right? So if you get a commitment and a backbone instead of a wishbone, your business is going to grow like wildfire. Okay. So here's the law of connection. Law of connection is one of the best laws. But basically, law of connection says leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. If people don't care how much you know, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You've got to show people that you care about them. Okay. You've got to show people that you care about them. And how do you show people that you care about them? The answer is obvious, right? If your neighbor's house is on fire, would you help them? Would you, if you knew that their family was in there, would you like let them know? Right? Of course, right? So as we talk about the Long Beach event, okay, you need to look at everybody as they say, help me, written on their forehead, right? I need to help them see the value and go into the event. I'm a big believer that 7 no's equals a yes, right? I'll be persistent, right? Because I care. Like, we don't get paid for every person that we bring to the event. You guys got to realize that. We don't get paid for every person that we get committed to the event. We get paid for them becoming leaders, right? We get paid for them becoming successful. So what do we want to do, right? We want to get them to the environment where they can become a success, man. Look at everybody as they say, help me on their forehead. When you're talking to somebody about the event, what are we talking about, right? We want to help them become a success. And how do you do that? Getting them to the convention, right? Now, if you're in Asia, get them to the Asia convention, right? The one that's coming up in, we all know about the big one that's coming up, right? We've got the event coming up in Macau. Everybody's going to be there, right? So the law of inner circle, okay, a leader's potential is determined by the people that are closest to them, right? The inner circle, I love this one. It's by Jim Rohn. And the inner circle, inspire them and they'll inspire you. If you're a father and you can walk out of the house and still feel your daughter's kiss on your face all day, you're a powerful man. If a husband can walk out of the house and still feel the imprint of his wife's arms around his body, he's invincible all day. The prophet said, there are many virtues and values, but here's the greatest value is one person caring about another. There is no greater value than love. And if you care about people, man, I'm telling you, you can go so far in this business, right? And to me, it's like when you look at the law of the inner circle, it is set the pace, right? Everybody's committed to the Long Beach event so we can inspire other people closest to us. You know what I mean? Like, we're all in, right? We're all in. When we talk to people, they can feel it, right? When I talk to people about the event, they're just like, whoa, I got to be there. Like, I got to be there no matter what, because it's like, to me, it's like, are you kidding me? Right? And I've been at this industry now for 30 years. I've never missed a convention, right? I've never missed one. And it's why? Why do I never miss a convention? because that's how we change people's lives, right? It's like, dang, dude, like, well, let's go, right? So let me talk about the law of empowerment. This is a new one too. The law of empowerment: only secure leaders give power to others. Before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. Once you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Jack Welch. I mean, that dude created some of the best CEOs, in America, and he just was a great leadership, like a person that grew people. Like that dude is like the miracle grow of leadership. So let's talk a little bit about that, right? What's the leadership lesson in that? Okay. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those that are doing it, right? As soon as you build event to event, we will empower everybody else to grow as a leader, right? The time to take action is now. No excuses. I talked to somebody the other day and they're like, hey, I had a person tell me that they couldn't find a hotel room, so they're not going. I'm like, that's somebody that's just looking for an excuse. Dude, there's a million hotel rooms. Like, where are they looking? Are they looking in Southern California? Right? Are they looking in, in some little bitty town that doesn't have hotels or something? Like, it's not hard to find hotels, dude. Like I'm promoting the heck out of the hotel that I'm promoting. The company just came out with a list of hotels. Like, we got to get people to the hotel events, right? Get people to get them to find a hotel, right? My wife laughs. She's like, are these people not adults? Like, what are we talking about? She's like, are they little kids? I'm like, no, they're adults. She goes, who can't find a hotel? There's a website called Expedia. My wife is just cracking up. But you're going to have people that are looking for excuses not to go. You got to make sure you find a reason for people to succeed, right? So the law of the big picture: people do what they people do what people see. This is the law of the big picture. Your team is always watching what you do. It's easier to teach what's right than to do what's right. We should work on changing ourselves before trying to improve others. The most valuable gift the leader can give is being a good example, right? Well, that's the law of the big law of the picture, right? So the law of the picture: people do what they see, right? So we've got to be that leader, right? The law of big people are going to see what. Bottom line is this, right? Leaders live in a fishbowl. Make no mistake about it. Okay, for good or bad, our team is always watching every move that we make, and want to see that we're obviously that we're committed to the Long Beach event. They're going to follow our lead, right? So we want to commit like never before, and letting people know that we're committed. Nothing's going to stop me. I've got to be there. And when people hear you take that type of like backbone instead of a wishbone, man, they're going to be fired up, right? We all know that. Okay. Law number 14 is the law of the buy-in. The leader: don't buy into the leader, don't buy into the vision, get another leader. Don't buy into the leader, buy into the vision, get another leader. Buy into the leader, don't buy into the vision, get another vision. Buy into the leader, buy into the vision, get behind the leader. Okay. So that's the law of the buy-in, right? The law of buy-in: people buy into the leader, then buy into the vision. Okay. So you got to be the type of leader that's committed. Okay. If you're always finding excuse or complaining, people can't follow that. Like, I can't, like, the reason why I'm so in love with Riman is because of Danny Bay. Danny Bay, and people are like, oh, well, you taught him. Yeah, well, that's the reason why I love him, because he's literally just like a knockoff of, he's a better version of me, right? It's like he just is so committed, it's unbelievable. He's committed and he doesn't complain. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't complain. He finds a way to make it's find a way or make a way, right? Find a way or make a way. That's his attitude. And that's what I love so much about his commitment. It's refreshing to be around people that are 100% committed, that don't complain, that don't make excuses. That's the type of leader that he is, right? So here's a leadership lesson. This is an old school video from like YouTube back in the days. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but whip yourself into you just got to whip yourself into the Long Beach frenzy, right? In order to have your team buy into the Long Beach event frenzy, right? You need to be the biggest believer, man. You got to be the biggest believer in the Long Beach event frenzy. Like, this was a thing where this dude was dancing by himself. Like, just, it was at a concert. I'm sure like these guys were probably not, maybe he was like, he showed up not sober, right? And he was doing this for a while. Nobody was doing it. People were just laughing at him. And then finally this other dude jumped in. He's like, I want to be a part of this. And he starts dancing with the guy too, right? This guy started, and then everybody started joining in. And then the whole entire section was dancing with this guy. And it's because he didn't care about what people said. He's like, I'm going to have a good time no matter what. And people saw that he was having fun. And guess what they wanted to do? They wanted to join him, right? That's how you got to be about the Long Beach event. You just got to whip yourself into Long Beach frenzy. Like, you got to be like in a frenzy. Now, the law of victory, this is big, right? Law number 15. The law of victory: leaders find a way for a team to win. I love this one, right? I love this one. He says, when the pressure's on, great leaders are at their best. Whatever's inside of them comes to the surface. Boom. Like this one is so good because it's like leadership, people have like ice water in their veins. Like it's like, it's like you got to be that leader. Like nothing's going to stop you. Like not like that you're fired up no matter what. Like this is it, right? This is my time. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get the job done, right? And that's the way that we got to be as leaders. Make no mistake about it, right? We got to make sure that no matter what, we're committed, right? That we have that attitude that, look, I'm going to find a way or make a way to get it, to make it happen, right? I'm going to get it done no matter what. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can get my way over, under, through. I'm going to make it happen. When you have that type of commitment, when you're that type of leader that says, man, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get the job done over, under, through. That's the type of leader that people want to be around. Okay. They want to be around people like this. Okay. They want to be around people that are going to the top no matter what, right? That they're going to succeed. Nothing can stop me. They find a way for their team to win, right? They find a way for their team to win, right? And that's literally the way that we've got to be, right? Like make no mistake about it. That's the only way to be, as a leader is to say, hey, I'm going to get the job done. Over, under, through, I'm going to make it happen. So what is the lesson in this? To me, it's like, look, bottom line, what? It's like the never ending story, dude. Like that guy, that movie, I had nightmares about that movie as a kid, right? But that that dude with that little kid, it was like, I don't know why. My wife was like, I had no idea about that too. I don't know, maybe it was every kid from some of you guys are like, I have no idea what that is. I'm not, yeah, I'm too young for that, right? But I'm telling you, like, people will be afraid not to follow you, right? When they know that where you're going, right? If you have that attitude, like, look, I'm going to the top, right? I'm going to make it happen. Over, under, through. People want to be around that, right? People want to be around that type of leader. So every planner right now is committed to the Long Beach event to be able to lead their team there as well, right? That nothing. If you make an excuse, what kind of leader is that? Just think about it. Like if you're going to make an excuse, think to yourself, like, what kind of leader are you? Like you literally are a leader that makes excuses. That's not really a leader. That's not the type of person that people want to be around. People don't want to be around leaders that make excuses. They want to be around leaders that do what? Find a way or make a way. Over, under, through. I'm going to the Long Beach convention with or without you. It's not. It's like, well, if my team goes, I'm going to go. It's like, what? Your team definitely ain't going to go because you're not a leader. Like just leadership leading means doing it first, right? That's what leading means. It's like, what are we doing? Like, we got to make sure that we're leading by example. If you lead by example, my mentor told me you can judge by results. Okay. So let's talk about law number 16, the law of the big mo. Some of you guys have seen me do this before when I talk about the momentum, but the law of the big mo, momentum is a leader's best friend. Momentum, number one, is the great exaggerator. It makes leaders look better than they are. And without momentum, you look worse than you really are. Okay. And it helps followers perform better than they are, right? Momentum is easier to steer than to start. Momentum is the most powerful change agent. Momentum is a leader's responsibility, right? And momentum begins inside the leader. Okay. These are 7 reminders from John C. Maxwell about leadership, momentum. But momentum is a leader's best friend. Make no mistake about it, right? This is like, if you say anything, it's like the reality is that you just need more momentum. Okay. And how you create momentum is obviously by what, right? Getting people, right, in an environment where they can grow and develop, right? So you got to have that give me the ball attitude. Every leader in Riman is committed to the conference, right? Everybody's like, man, I'm going to the Long Beach conference no matter what, in order to create massive momentum for their entire team, right? It's like you have a responsibility to whip yourself into the Long Beach convention, promotion, right? Like promoting mode, that Long Beach convention frenzy, okay? The law of priorities, leaders understand that activity is not necessarily accomplishment. 20% of your activity gives you 80% of your result. It's a Pareto principle. We all know that. But the fact of the matter is when you look at it, prioritize or agonize, right? Every Riman leader right now's number one priority is getting everybody to the Long Beach convention right now. I mean, you're going to have people get started 2 or 3 weeks before, maybe even a week before, and you get them as a new person to the convention, their minds are going to be blown, right? Get your priorities straight, right? The number one priority every Riman leader has is, number one is promoting the event, right? Getting people that are on the fence to come, right? Getting people that have said no to say yes, right? It's like, I just don't take no for an answer, right? As a leader, right? So here's a really good one. The law of sacrifice. This one I'm a big believer in. A leader must give up to go up. As you rise in leadership, your responsibility increases and your rights decrease, right? This is true leadership, right? Some people think it's the other way around, right? As as you grow as a leader, your responsibilities decrease and your rights increase. It's not the case, right? Leaders eat last, right? Make no mistake about it. So let's talk a little bit about this, okay? Here's what I want to share with you, right? Okay, you have to give up to go up. Every leader has given up their fears, their doubts, excuses, and their limiting beliefs. And they're just like, I'm going all in for Long Beach, right? I'm running all for Long Beach. Everybody wants to be a team leader by Long Beach. Everybody wants to be a senior manager by Long Beach. Everybody right now is running more than ever before because they know that that's where they're going to become successful at. So they don't have any fears. They don't have any doubts. They don't have any excuses. They're just running, right? So biggest thing is law number 19, obviously the law of timing. When to lead is as important as what to do and where to go, right? Wrong action, wrong time, disaster. Right action, wrong time, resistance. Wrong action, right time, mistake. Right action, right time, success. It's very simple what the right action is right now, right? The timing right now where we are, okay, we're coming up on the event. We're less than 45 days away. The right action is what? Promoting the event. That's how we're going to have success, okay? So what we have to realize more than anything else is this. There has never been a better time, okay? With the most important announcements happening, you got to realize the announcements are over the top, okay? This is over the top. And people, like I saw Haley say, what about Australians, right? I'm getting everybody to at least the event in Macau, right? No matter what, you know. But the bottom line is what, right? Urgency's over the top to get everybody to Long Beach Convention right now. Okay. So there's never been a better time, right? There's never been a better time than right now. This is our time. This is our chance. We're going to make it happen. Okay. Now, the law of explosive growth, my favorite law. This is the law that helped me make more money than any other law. The law of explosive growth says to add growth, lead followers. To multiply growth, lead leaders. Okay. When you develop followers, you grow by addition. When you develop leaders, you grow by multiplication. Okay. You want to multiply your growth. So how is the law of explosive growth? What's the lesson that we can get out of that? Well, right now, like attracts like. Everyone is running hard for the Long Beach event right now because they know in order to attract solid leaders, they must have a forward-leaning emotion and be excited about the Long Beach event. It's like, you know, right now, if you've been in Riman and you're at least a team leader or higher, you know Long Beach is everything, right? If you're brand new or you're maybe a senior manager and you haven't been to an event yet, or maybe you're a senior manager that has been to an event, you probably know already. But if you've never been to an event, you don't realize how powerful these events are. So right now, to grow leaders, everybody's trying to get people to the Long Beach event because we know that if somebody gets in that environment over a 2-day period, they're going to run through brick walls. They're going to come out of that event on fire. That's the only way you can capture the real vision of Riman. Okay, feel the heart of Riman. So the law of legacy. I'm gonna talk about this for a second. A leader's lasting value is measured by succession. Okay, and I love this Mother Teresa. What I'm about to share with you with this quote. This hung in her office in Calcutta. But people are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyways, right? If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyways. If you're successful, you'll win some false friends and some true enemies. Guess what? Succeed anyways, okay? If you're honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyways. If you spend years building, someone can destroy it overnight. Build it anyways. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Guess what? Be happy anyways. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Guess what? Do good anyways. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough, but give the world the best you have anyways. Because you see in your final analysis, it was never between you. It was between between you and God. It was never between you and them anyways. That's the reality, right? You do the best that you can do, right? You can't beg people. You can't beg people, and you can't force people to participate in their own rescue, right? You just can't. Some people are stuck on stupid, right? And they're gonna, they're gonna be drowning. You're gonna throw them a lifeline, and they won't participate in their own rescue. But you're gonna find most people will. But you've got to throw that lifeline. And if they refuse at the beginning, you got to tell them, hey, grab the lifeline. You got to make sure you tell them, you got to be there. You got to be at the event, right? You got to be there. So when you look at the fact of the matter is, you don't want to be the king or queen. You want to be the king or queen maker. That's the biggest thing that you got to realize. You don't want to be the woman or the man. I'm not trying to be the man. I don't want to be the king or queen. I want to be the king or queen maker, right? Everyone in Riman is building for the Long Beach event so they can grow their new leaders. I mean, let's face it. We all know that. But you've got to have a backbone, not a wishbone. You got to have posture. You got to have confidence. You got to know what's best for people. And I'm telling you, I will not compromise on events. If I'm working with somebody, I won't compromise. Okay? Because I care too much about people to let them miss the event, right? They don't know what they don't know. If they've never been to an event, we got to get them to an event, right? We have to make sure no matter what, we get them to an event. And we got to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Okay? We got to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. We got to decide right now that this is it, right? You got to decide right now, this is my time. You got to decide right now, hey, this is my time. This is my chance. Over, under, through, I'm going to get there. I'm going to the top. I'm going to be in Long Beach. I'm going to get my team to Long Beach. No matter what. I'm not trying to do, ask them, hey, do you want to go to the event? If you do, I'll go. Like, I'm going to the event no matter what. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to be at the event too. People that are at that event will walk out of that event running through brick walls, fighting Bengal tigers, ready to attack. It's just the way it goes. And the people that miss it, there's a pretty good chance they won't be around by next convention. I'm being straightforward with you. Why? Because they're going to see everybody come out of the event just take over. And they're going to be like, oh my God, my business is not growing. It's stagnant or whatever. And then, you just got to have a backbone. You got to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. I'm non-negotiable. I'm non-debatable about these events. Why? Because my job is super simple: to get people to where they want to go, to make sure that everybody becomes a success. And you got to have that attitude right now that says, hey, I'm ready. I'm going to step up. I'm going to step out. I'm going all in. Okay. I'm going to give it everything that I got. This is my time. This is my chance. I'm going to win. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to think about this. What do you on fire look like? What does you with an eye gaze that says, man, I'm up to something. You want to join me? What does that version of you look like? What does that version of you, no nonsense, 100% committed, going all out, giving it everything that you got? What does that version of you look like? Think about it. What does that version of you look like where you're unstoppable, where it's undeniable that you're going to make it happen? That's the leader right now that we need to be. This is our time right now. This is our chance right now. We've got to step up and make a commitment right now like never before. We can't let this window of opportunity slip through our fingertips, because I'm telling you right now, this is it. After this event, this thing is going to start growing like wildfire through a dry brush field. This thing's going to take off. Like it's going to start, everybody's organization is going to start multiplying like rabbits on Viagra. It's going to just take off, right? It's going to be like out of this world. And I'm telling you right now, no matter what, we got to make that commitment. You got to say, hey, look, you know what? Nothing can stop me. Nothing can get my way. I'm going to be there. I'm going to get my team there. I'm going to have a backbone. And I'm telling you what, I'm going to tell people what they need to hear. Guess what? Not what they want to hear. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I have these conversations with people, and I'm getting them to this event. I'm going to make them successful, right? I'm going to get them an environment that's going to help them grow and develop. This moment in time is my time. This is my chance. Okay. And I'm going to step up. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm going all in. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going all in. That's got to be the attitude right now that we have, because I'm telling you right now, I promise you this thing's going to take off like a rocket ship after this event. This thing's taking off like a rocket ship after this event. So let's make a commitment in our mind, make a commitment in our heart right now that says, this is it. This is our time. This is our chance. This is our opportunity to be able to become a success. And Wednesday, I'm going to be doing how to close the month strong and how to create massive momentum this month to be able to create momentum going into convention month, because this is our time. This is our chance. Let's lock arms. Let's give it everything we got. Over, under, through. Let's make it happen. And let's make sure that everybody becomes a success with us. Let's make sure everybody becomes a success with us. Okay, don't let anybody get left behind. We can't be letting people get left behind. We got to say, hey, guess what? I'm gonna make sure no matter what, you make it. We're doing it. We're getting it done. Over, under, through. This is our time. This is our chance. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm gonna run like I've never ran before, because this is it. So with that being said, hope you guys had a great evening. Hope you guys had some fun. Hope I entertained you guys. And I'll tell you guys, next week, you're going to love Elizabeth Bear. If you haven't ever met Elizabeth Bear, she's unbelievable. Up in Northern California, building a monster business. She is such a superstar. and she's going to share with you how she's been able to, she does like incredible amount of customer acquisition every month. She's unbelievable. So you guys are going to love that training tomorrow, next week with her, and Chris Kim is going to be fire. God bless you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys at the top. Let's make it happen, everybody.